Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me on the St. Pete Soul podcast. I am super excited to have Elizabeth and Cillian with me. They are the founders of Love St. Pete and two of my favorite people. So hi, welcome.
Hey.
Hi. So this is like special for me because one half of you, Elizabeth, was my very first podcast episode. So it's kind of cool to like full circle two years later. And now I've Cillian on and kind of just like, now you can tell your side of the story.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want that.
Yeah. So kind of like refresh everyone a little bit of your backstory, like individually and kind of how you met.
Sure. I told the how we met story last time.
Okay, so
we can hear
it
your
should
perspective
be interesting.
this time.
Yeah, we can compare. So I'm originally from Ireland. I emigrated to America. Yeah, I know. Emigrated to America in 2002. I lived in Boston for a long time and ended up moving to St. Pete in 2017. My background in relation to local products and stuff. I had a golf company that I kind of ran. I play a lot of golf. I wanted to wear my own gear and my friends, etc. But that didn't really go anywhere. So decided to kind of delve into some designing and some ideas and just to see if we could sell them locally as a business model. And started it during COVID, which was a unique time. But it's kind of grown from there. I met Elizabeth on a dating app, believe it or not. Modern dating,
modern love,
and yeah, she struck me right away. She pulled up literally. She was at Hawthorne Bottled Shop for a wine tasting, but the wine tasting was 4 full glasses of wine, and I walk in and she pulls up a seat and she just rolls over two glasses of wine and says, "Here you go." So that's how we met.
That is the story that I heard. So
okay, good.
Yeah. After that, we went to dinner, and we've been this way ever since. I suppose. Yeah. Still drink a lot of wine, eat a lot of Hawkers for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I will just to go back to how we got started with the business is we just love this place, right? That's why our name is Love St. Pete, obviously. So we really wanted to promote other locals. So maybe people who didn't have a platform or, an artist who couldn't afford their own booth at a market or something like that. And one of the ideas we had was to have a calendar of events of, like where we were going to be, where things we recommended doing. As Cillian said, we started in the midst, just like a week before lockdown.
Yeah.
So we quickly had to pivot the business model, which was pretty funny because, as I've said when we talked the first time, I flat told Cillian, nobody wants another t-shirt company, right? That's not what we need to be focused on. And after 2 years, I'm still trying to pull my foot out of my mouth on that because that is what people want. That's what we do now.
Yeah. But your products are cool and St. Pete is cool. So it makes sense. Yeah. But knowing both of you, it's, you kind of both had that entrepreneurial spirit, I feel like. And so it makes sense that when you found each other, makes sense that y'all kind of had this idea and started working on it.
Yeah, it was a unique time because I'm sure as many people listening, COVID, impacted everyone very differently, right? We spent an awful lot of time at home and around each other. I actually was furloughed from my full-time job at the time. So I had a lot of time on my hands. And I had a lot of ideas, and I started 2 other companies during that time too. So I was like full on design mode, full on just spending a lot of time on the computer, trying to start out stuff. So we would have supplemental income basically, but also provide products for local St. Pete residents to wear with pride, not just here, but across the country. And we do sell across the country. There's a lot of people, Wisconsin, Nevada, California, people who have left that still miss the city and buy our products. So
That's cool. I didn't realize that. That's really cool.
We shipped something to Hawaii
yeah,
recently, or
one
someone bought something and took it back to Hawaii.
yeah, someone one went to Munich.
Oh yeah.
We sell it internationally too. So yeah, so I had a lot of time on my hands. So I kind of threw it all into trying to start something that would be local, that something that Elizabeth and I could have for years to come, but also for us to grow into Elizabeth taking it over full time, potentially having like a brick and mortar, or it becoming a full-time job and not just a hobby or a sidekick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool to hear that you've got people that have, they used to live here, they moved away, or maybe they visit a lot, so they just love the city and that they're buying your products around the world. That's really cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We've only had the one international sale,
Yeah.
Yeah, still.
but still,
I count that as
now we can say it. We're international.
International company.
That's right.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about sorry, you can hear Piper walking around.
Whoa.
Here it comes. Talk a little bit about why you love St. Pete so much. What makes it special for you?
Oh, you mean?
Yeah, you can take this one.
All right. You have a good story though, so I need to hear yours too.
Yeah.
I first moved to St. Pete in 2013, lived here for about a year and a half. And as you know, St. Pete was a wildly different place 10 years ago.
Mhm.
But I still loved it. It was still a very cool city, very artsy, very progressive. And you can't beat the weather and the sunsets we get. So I wound up moving to the West Coast for a couple of years. And every day I would wake up and think to myself, okay, how am I going to get back to St. Petersburg? What am I going to do today that's going to put me back there? And it took me a couple of years, but I came back also in late 2016, early 2017, and just fell in love with the place all over again. It had changed so much in 4 years, and then these last 5, it's changed even more, but it's still maintained that local feel. It still feels very, not small town, but hometown, I guess might be the right word. It feels like
a community.
Yes, there we go. The people are wonderful. All the small businesses support one another. Again, the weather, the sunsets.
Yeah, the little big city, I like to call it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good description for sure.
And we've got a little of everything.
Yeah, I fell in love with the place literally over 2 beers and a sunset. I was on vacation randomly, never even heard of St. Petersburg. Had barely even heard of Tampa. I lived in Boston for 17 years, and big city. You kind of grow into the lifestyle and the summers there. Always loved the summers. I'm a huge golfer, but the winter was just draining on me, and ended up taking a vacation to St. Pete, just completely random, and was on the rooftop at Birchwood at Canopy, and it was a February day, and it was 82 out, and the sun was setting, and there was the 6th nor'easter of the year in New England. And I was like, I don't think I ever want to go back. This is why how have I never known about this place? I had been to Florida before, but my impression of Florida was Naples and Fort Lauderdale and Miami. And those really didn't jive with me. But
different
then
vibe.
I came here, and everyone's like, it's so nice. I said to Elizabeth, when I first moved here, I went to the DMV, and I could not get over how nice the people at the DMV were. I was like, something's amiss.
That's a good indicator.
Yeah, I'm either in the Twilight Zone or there's something really going on here. And then I got my first parking ticket, and they waive your first parking ticket if for free if you're a tourist. You just sign it in and they waive it. And I was like, who does this? I had never really come from a city like that. So 4 months later, I was here.
Wow.
I figured out my job so I could work remote. Gave my gave my boss sort of an ultimatum without it being an ultimatum. And I moved to Florida 4 months later, and I've been here since. And I mean, I love it here. We have perfect weather. Like I said, I'm a big golfer, so I literally play
Year round.
all year.
Yeah.
Sunsets, the boat weather, the people, the great food.
Yeah, the art and music scene too.
Yeah, it has everything. And we are 5 minutes drive from downtown in our home. We have a baseball team, we have a football team in the Tampa Bay area, and
Hockey.
we have all the sports too. So it's like, and obviously the Tampa Bay area has become a big sports town in the last like 3-4 years.
Tampa Bay.
Right?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tom
Right.
Brady.
I actually, when I moved to Boston the day before Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, and then I left and he never won again, and I came here and then he won. So I'm not saying it's related, but there's some similarities.
Tom Brady, if you happen to be listening, hey, Cillian.
Yeah. Just you got my number, just reach out.
You're welcome, Tom.
Oh, well, Tampa Bay thanks you as well. We love being a title town. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So when you said you fell in love over 2 beers and a sunset, I feel like that is like a tagline. You need to like trademark that for your business. That's like so perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be my first country song, I think.
Now we're also apparently musical artists.
I'll just add it to it.
Please.
I'll come up with a jingle or
We've got
something.
a lot of things going on apparently.
Oh, that's great. So okay, I can't believe like your boss, you just in 4 months, you convinced him to let you go remote and you moved. Like that's like super fast turnaround time.
And for a company who had never had a remote worker.
Yeah, I was going to ask like what, yeah, so you didn't really have that structure in the business. So wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was tricky. I was in the unique position that the first day I stepped into the country, well, I started at that job. So I've been there for 21 years.
Yeah.
21 years. So obviously developed a really good relationship with my boss, and I was very unhappy living up there, and I realized that I needed a change. So ultimately, if I had to walk away, luckily I was able to keep my job, and I'm obviously very grateful for that. But I was willing to walk away to start anew, come down here and start fresh. So if it had come to that, I guess I would have got a new job. But I still have to say they backed me, and they have for the last 4 years. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. Well, and it enabled you to start your passion project with Love St. Pete. So yeah. So kind of talk about like from, 2 years ago, you were kind of new, started the podcast first episode to now, kind of like what's new, how's it evolved?
Oh gosh, we have a big online store and presence now, but we are also at a lot of local markets. So we take the brand and the product there. We've gotten product into Sunken Gardens, and we're going into the Chambers store probably next month. Yeah, so
awesome.
Yeah, so things have really grown and changed, and we've had to figure out, how are we going to manage our Instagram, or how are we going to get people to engage with us? That's been some learning curves. How else have we evolved, do you think?
I've had to step outside my comfort zone with promoting myself. I'm Irish, so we don't really tend to do that too much. So being a little bit more outgoing as a business owner. It's interesting that we're obviously, we're not well known, but enough people, see our products or meet us at markets, or Elizabeth does a lot of great networking, women's groups, in the young St. Pete Young Professionals. So Elizabeth does a lot of that. She's the market. She's the networker really of the family here. But
I prefer chief people officer.
I like that.
but it is cool that we are starting to get recognized. We're starting to make a little bit of having a little bit of a foothold
Yeah.
in the market. So, which is pretty cool and exciting.
Yeah, we've been places before and people have asked what you do, and we say love to people. Like, oh gosh, we saw you at the market at Blush, or we saw you at Shopapalooza, or what else? Or like, I was at an event once at Book and Bottle and ran into someone and she was asking what I do, and I told her, and she was like, oh, I found out about this event because you'd shared that you were coming here, and I was like,
that's cool.
That's so cool.
Yep.
What has developed, and we're obviously friends with you, Brittany.
Yes.
The circle of friends has grown in the last couple of years. You girls have a happy hour every week and invite new people and go to new locations and this, that, and the other. So it's bringing all those people together too. It's like, yes, we want to sell our products, but that's not the be all end all of what we're trying to do. We're trying to be part of a community that we care about.
Yeah, we didn't get into it to make a killing.
Yeah. You got into it because, like you said, you want to be a part of a community. You want to celebrate the city and community that you love and share that passion with other people. So
That's it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, it's cool to hear that you're like the brand awareness is growing. And it's just having a small business. It's just all the little nuances and like challenges that you like run across. Like you said, now we're having to think about, okay, how do we want to manage the Instagram account? It's just people don't think about all those little things that it takes to like run a business. But
like I just did all of this stuff to get our taxes ready to go to the accountant, and I was like, oh my.
Yeah.
I'm so glad there's somebody else that does that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What so kind of in that vein, like what would you say would be like some of the biggest successes that you've had, or maybe some of the challenges that you feel like you've overcome, and maybe even just related to like COVID and how that's, we've all been through that craziness.
I would say the biggest success that we have had is lasting through it and not just being sort of like a flash in the pan. Elizabeth and I were together a year when COVID came, and we were lucky that we moved from a very small. We had just moved in together. We moved from a very, very small apartment up across from Derby Lane, the dog track on Gandhi, to a house in down off of Fifth Ave.
Central Oak.
Yeah, in Central Oak, and even our relationship just surviving COVID, I think it's a win.
A lot of people say that.
It sounds so much worse than it actually was. It was not that bad.
As she takes her hand away.
I know.
I think
Take this back.
Initially we had different thought processes on what business was going to be. Like Elizabeth said, we thought it was going to be one thing, and we ended up pivoting into something different.
I thought Cillian was right all along. I thought.
But you could have easily have been right too. So, just trying to navigate our way through there and figure out how, especially during COVID, how we were going to supply products to people that wanted to buy stuff. I mean, a lot of people weren't going out. People had, obviously it was difficult times, but people spent a lot of money during COVID too. A lot of time at home, a lot of time on Amazon and stuff. But
and Local Shops One, that what is that called? I think it's Local Shops One, isn't it? Same people that put on Shopapalooza run that website. So that was our first real online place. People spend a lot of time. Locals spend a lot of time on there.
Yeah, we were just trying to navigate how to do it, and if it was just going to be, like I said, a flash in the pan and a waste of my time sitting down coming up with all the designs and how to stock it or deliver it, et cetera, et cetera. But we figured it out.
We did a lot of home deliveries, a lot of driving to people's houses, and
a lot of motorcycle rides to deliver products. That was fun.
We haven't done that in a while. We should do that again.
Yeah. So now you have an Etsy store, right? That's your primary like website? that right?
So we have a website that directs to Etsy. So we
Okay.
use Etsy as a sales platform. So I had tried Shopify and Teespring and a couple other like places to sell our product, but Etsy was relatively low initial out. Rather than having a lot of product on hand, we were able to use Etsy to use drop shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Drop shipping is basically we're the middleman. We do have product on hand because we do markets, but if you were to order, let's say, a t-shirt today, it would go directly to a product manufacturer and then they ship it right to your house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we just keep an eye on the overall order. So we were trying to figure out what platform to use, and Etsy, it was just fairly straightforward. So if you were to go on our website, it's lovestpete.com. Yeah, we have a functioning website, but the store portion of that directs to an Etsy page, correct?
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So, and then you're talking about markets. So it sounds like that's a big part of your sales and then even like marketing, brand awareness, being out there.
Yeah, it has. Shopapalooza was definitely our biggest by far. We'll be at Localtopia on the 12th of February. So that should be another huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been working with a mentor at the greenhouse.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, Sean with the greenhouse. She's been fantastic.
Keeping us on track. We have no idea what we're doing,
None.
but
Nobody does. Okay.
yeah, she's keeping us on track, and we have some goals for this year to try to get into multiple additional stores. And then she's going to keep us on track with that, and any sort of Google ads, things like that. I mean, it's just it's a maze trying to figure out how to get that done. So yeah, so we've been doing that.
So how does the greenhouse work? Like, I can't remember. Did you apply and they assign you a mentor, or like, what does that look like?
Pretty much. Yeah, you reach out to them on the website. It's a collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce and Greenhouse. The mentorship they provide there are two levels. There's a free one and then there's a paid one. We have the free one.
Yep.
I can't remember what the paid one is.
It's additional access to video content from
right.
previous events and leadership courses that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but the basic level is amazing and it's completely free to small business owners. We had a friend refer us to the greenhouse. And yeah, we meet once a month. It's usually about an hour Zoom call. I'm guessing they might have been in-person calls pre-COVID, but
yeah,
who knows? Yeah, and she goes over everything with us from developing a business plan to the marketing, Google ad aspect of it that Cillian said, like teaching us how to get our website to show up in a Google search. A lot of
development of products, what
Yeah.
products sell versus others, what your target audience is.
how to identify your target market.
wow.
Yeah, kind of put things into perspective.
She
I
keeps
was
us
literally
accountable.
winging it, just winging it, just doing what I could. And she's come in and kind of like put a couple of things into perspective. So she's been very helpful.
Whipped us.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome. I mean, it sounds like, she's helping you kind of get on that right track to continue to grow.
Yeah, and they do a program called 1 Million Cups, which is the lead up to St. Pete Pitch Night, where a foundation or a nonprofit or a business can go and make their pitch for a $5,000 grant from the chamber and the greenhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do all sorts of cool stuff.
Very cool. So let's see, let's talk about kind of where your inspiration comes from. And we talked about this a little bit before we started, about like why you started the business. And then a second question I would have would be like, how do you come up with the designs? Like, where does that inspiration or muse, come from for that?
Well, Brittany, as you know, I'm a very open thinker and I'm just full of ideas. So they just come flowing out of me. I don't have any inspiration. I'm just,
It's just magic. It
Yeah.
He's
just,
just amazing. He's amazing.
I think it started, like I said, I had a golf company, so I kind of had dabbled around with design work, and wanting to, instead of spending $30 on a t-shirt with someone else's name on it, to spend $15 on something that I designed and I would wear myself, right?
Mm.
So just initially started out with some really raw and not very good designs initially. And looking back, I was like, oh boy, I thought they were great, and they weren't. But since found different platforms to be able to help design the products, place them onto, place the design onto products, show worthy photos to be able to go into Instagram, Facebook, etc.
And even sourcing the kinds of products, like making sure we find someone whose t-shirts are consistent, or whose mugs are.
Yeah, obviously quality could be an issue. Every now and again, just like any business, something goes awry, you have to fix that. But in general, we found a company that works with us that provides good products. So the inspiration came from, like I said, I lived in Boston for a long time. And Boston is it's a very proud city. Everyone who lives there is very proud of where they come from. Similar-ish to New York and Philly and Chicago. You want to represent where you come from. If you love where you live, you wear stuff, you gift stuff, you have notepads and all this type of materials. And it just didn't seem to be anything like that in St. Pete. There was a couple of things, but it was literally like a handful.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of saw a niche in the market there, and started playing around with designs that I thought that people would like. And I've created hundreds and hundreds of designs, and only a select few are currently on, in the store and on the website. Nobody clicked on them, no one bought them, no one went near them, right? And I own them. they're like one-off pieces of art, I would say. But finally, kind of like started narrowing down what people like, and like I said, our select market, it's mostly women between 25 and 50, and catering, and then understanding that, then knowing and catering the designs to our target market. So things like, we have this new hat. I saw leather patches. I kind of have seen them before. I was like, oh, our logo would look great on that. And I came across a really cool hat, and I got some glue and some masking tape and started gluing leather patches on hats. So
there we go.
I think you take inspiration from a lot of things. Obviously, other people have done. This is not the first leather patch hat that anyone's ever seen, but you take inspiration from potentially other people, other sources. You relate it to yourself, but we do have unique items too that specific just to St. Pete that you're not going to find anywhere else.
Yeah, very cool. I feel like I didn't know like how creative you were deep down. So this is like really like to the level that you are. It's very cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Brittany.
So we talked a little bit already about how you've seen the business grow. Is there anything else that you kind of add to that as far as like how you've seen it grow in the past 2 years?
I took it last time, so I'm gonna let you take this.
How it's grown. We touched on being noticed in public. We're not celebrities.
Cool.
We're not celebrities, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
We would like to get to the point where we are, outside of, a couple of a lot of, I should say, there's a lot of like stores in St. Pete that people go to regardless, right? We're not going to overstep our boundaries in regards to that, but we'd like to be the go-to place to find local related products in the city. That would be our goal. We've been moving towards that. Like I said, we've been getting recognized, going to markets. A lot of people come to the markets or have heard about it because of us. They come in to see us in particular. That is odd that people would do that. It's an
Feels odd. Yeah,
odd
it
new
feels odd,
feeling,
yeah.
you know, that
But
they're
it's awesome.
yeah, specifically finding our, finding us out, finding our booth. So changes, yeah, we're obviously still very much in the growth phase, and trying to become more recognized. One of our goals this year is to try to, like I said, get into multiple stores, try to be a little bit more recognized, try to attend more markets, and try to get me out of my comfort zone a little bit by talking to people at markets.
Trying to get me to talk less.
And trying to get Elizabeth to talk.
That'll be the day.
I think that might be a challenge, but
That's the biggest challenge.
She's just so good at it. She's so good at talking.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, so talking about goals. So obviously getting into more stores is a goal. You kind of said this earlier, I think you mentioned brick and mortar. Is that a long-term goal, do you think, to have like a physical store?
We go back and forth a little on it.
I think it's my goal for Elizabeth, but Elizabeth goes back and forth whether she actually wants to do that or not.
No, I would do it. I just don't know if we won't be able to spend a month away every summer like we did last year.
Yeah.
If we've got a store. So I think it's
Yeah, there's more flexibility
yeah.
with how we have it set up now, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has to work for us too. Like if it's not working for us, we both have full-time jobs. So if it's not working for us, we're not going to do it. I mean, the goal is to create something that can maybe grow into something bigger where it provides a living for us.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't grow in the right way, we're not going to do it. So
yeah,
I think I like the allure of a brick and mortar, and I have ideas and red brick walls and all this sort of stuff. But I don't want to pay the lease costs.
No, he's also never done inventory, so he doesn't know what he's missing there.
I'm more of the dreamer, but whether it makes sense or not.
I mean, I think ideally if we had a brick and mortar and both of us didn't have to be at it 12 hours a day every day, if we had the ability to have a team and somebody else running the store and
employees.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff. I think certainly that would be ideal.
Yeah, we'll see where it grows, right?
Yeah, Brittany, you got $100,000 lying around? So you want to?
I wish, man.
Want to get in on Central Ave?
If some more people would buy houses, then yeah.
Yeah.
All right, if you're listening, buy houses for Brittany,
Exactly.
so you can support her and us.
Yeah. Support us all.
Cool. Well, I want to ask, what does a typical day in the life of Love St. Pete business look like?
Well, we put down, it's mostly part-time. We do have, like I said, full-time jobs. Mostly me keeping an eye on the orders or designing new products that I've been trying to keep up with putting new products in the store every Friday, but sometimes that kind of gets away from me a little bit. So it's mostly on me, I would say, for the most part, with the orders and stuff.
The orders, yeah.
Yeah, but Elizabeth's the promotional director
and the bookkeeper.
And the bookkeeper, correct.
Okay.
So it's
the operations manager.
Yeah, she's got all the titles.
All hats.
So and then outreach, just emailing people, Instagram follow-up. A lot of people reach out to us on Instagram. So it's not like, I wouldn't say it's like a ton of work.
No, it is a lot more social media work than I really anticipated it was going to be, which makes sense, but it's just overwhelming sometimes. We're like, oh, we have no idea what we're doing here.
Well, I can vouch and say that your social media always looks great. So
thank you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
you're you're sharing a lot stories. I know stories are huge. You've always got a story up there. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a model for a fiance and a model for a dog, so they're always in shots. I try to stay out of them as much as I can. Yeah, Elizabeth's the face of the company. So
Yeah. Well, it sounds like y'all have a good like working relationship with that.
We
Like,
definitely both have our own roles. Really, we pretty much stay inside of.
yep.
We collaborate, obviously, but we work pretty well together.
yeah, that probably I feel like that works better because then you like it keeps your personal relationship like kind of separated and you kind of know what your responsibilities are. So there's not like you just, like random fighting all the time about who's supposed to do what. So that probably makes it better.
Yeah, like if this call is supposed to be over Zoom or on the phone,
Okay.
one of us knows that it's over Zoom and one of us
Oh
doesn't.
God.
One of us did not read the email.
One of us
No.
did not read the email. Yeah.
I did not do very good at my operations management task. So I'm not reading
It was an honest mistake. So to,
I just like Cillian knows what's going on. He's fine. It's fine.
Anyone get the license plate of that bus?
No, but I did see the undercarriage pretty
Oh,
well.
okay.
I could probably sketch that out.
so everyone listening, we had a delay of start by just a little bit. So Elizabeth could be like, "Oh, yep, gonna be on camera. Let's get
I was
camera."
like, you need me to look like a person. What?
She did a great job. You look like
Okay.
definitely look like a person. Oh, awesome. Well, so okay, one thing I want y'all to talk about is tell us a little bit about your engagement story because
Oh.
I just it warms my heart. So I want you to share it if you don't mind.
Yeah.
From whose perspective?
Well, I'm gonna start by saying that on our like second or third date, Cillian told me I'm never getting married again, and I was like, "Whoa, bump the brakes, buddy! Like we only just met."
Yeah, I don't recall saying that. Elizabeth was drinking a lot when we first met, so I'm not sure whether that's actually true or not. But yeah, I have been married before, and you know, with a second marriage, you definitely want to take it probably a little bit slower, and didn't quite move to a new city and you know all of that stuff. So
He was very popular on online dating. He's probably just telling all the girls,
I just had
"Don't get attached."
I
to
just
me. Don't. Get
Brittany, you know me, right? I'm just an absolute hunk. There's just beating women off all over the place.
Yes.
Just, no, I can't talk to you today. So no, it was yeah, it was a unique situation. It was, you know, I wasn't quite sure. I didn't want to be pressured into getting married. And we had some conversations that hadn't maybe gone that great. Mostly because of me.
I don't know that they were conversations because anytime the W word came up, Cillian would just shut down.
Yeah, so I was throwing her.
They weren't really conversations.
I was throwing her off the scent. So
Oh, that's what it was.
yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, last November,
No,
2 Novembers ago, I kind of had just taken the day to myself and realized that who I had, and realizing that you know me not proposing to her was just I was being silly basically. So I figured she had mentioned about a ring that she had seen, and
I saw one for sale on Etsy on Black Friday. I emailed him the link and was like, just in case you ever wanted to propose, bah. Also, it's on Black Friday sale.
so and Elizabeth's not one for diamonds and stuff. So I was like, oh, cool. I don't have to spend a ton of money on an engagement ring, but pretty cool.
I do like stuff though, just to be clear. I do like things.
Yeah. Like stuff. Yeah.
So we had been to California the February before, and we had gone to a place called Carmel, which is in Monterey Bay, and absolutely beautiful part of the world. And we had such a great time, right? We went to Sonoma Valley, and I work for a moving company based in Boston. We have an office in San Francisco, and I manage regional operations for them. So I had flown out there for work and brought Elizabeth along, and we had done like a work vacation type. So anyway, along the way, I had asked her where her favorite place in the world was. And, it's just like one of these,
after the California trip.
yeah, one of these just car questions that sometimes come up, right? And she had mentioned this tiny little beach on the west coast of California, just north of Carmel. So I was like, okay, well, and I admit that place is absolutely gorgeous. It's, if you're standing on that beach, yes, it's very cold, but it's such a unique and beautiful spot that I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to propose to her, I'm going to do it I'm going to propose on that beach. So, COVID and everything, my travel, I tend to travel a lot, but COVID has obviously restricted that. But I was waiting to try to get back to San Francisco. And then in February of 2021, so last year, I had to go to California for 2 weeks for work. So Elizabeth was working remotely. So we both flew out. We got an Airbnb in South San Francisco. And Elizabeth came out and we were there for 2 weeks. But so the weekend in between work, I had booked a hotel that we had stayed at before, rented the car, and we're driving down, and it was like this whole scene with her friends the night before. We were drinking, they wanted us to stay, and I was like, we can't stay, and they thought I was being awful and gruff and just not a very nice person, but they didn't realize I was trying to propose to her the next morning.
Yeah.
So brought her to one of our favorite breakfast spots out there. We love California.
Oh my gosh, that part of California is amazing.
We'd live there if St. Pete didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't have to pay the taxes.
Yeah. If we could afford it, like it all.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're driving down, and we stopped at a couple of different places along the way, and we stopped at this beach, and I was like, oh, you want to get out and we've been here before, and she's like, this is your beach. I was like, oh, great. But she steps out and it's freezing cold.
Wind whipping.
And the wind
is February in Northern California. It was cold.
Really cold. So we go down and we're standing there, and I'm just trying to figure out how, where it's all these tiny, tiny little pebbles. So I'm trying to figure out where I can go down on a knee and not hurt myself.
I mean, it's literally called Pebble Beach at Chicago. And because instead of sand, it's got these little colorful stones, little colorful pebbles, all different colors, sizes, shapes. Yeah. It's gorgeous, but it is like almost a vertical walk down a cliff to the base of this beach to get there too. So it's not
So anyway, I was like, yeah, and then I was like nervous and wasn't saying anything. I'm like, oh, I gotta ask her. And she goes, let's go back to the car. I'm cold.
Why are we just standing here? Why are we just standing here?
Like, oh no, wait.
We've already seen this. We've seen this. Can we get back in the car now?
I'm thinking to myself, if you only know what's about to happen. And sure enough, that's the storyline. It's like you don't, like, she didn't know she was going to get proposed to. It wasn't even in the realm. So, but she was acting like a brat.
Which is well within the realm.
Anyway, I went down on one knee and I nearly dropped the ring, and that would have been bad because all the little pebbles are all kind of goldish looking. I never would have found the ring.
It would have been gone. Yeah.
And then proceeded to have like an hour and a half car ride after that, where Elizabeth was just in complete shock that she had been proposed to.
I was just like,
so.
I think the first thing I said to him when he proposed was, "Are you serious?" He was like, Is there more coming? Like, what do you mean?
No, this is one big elaborate scheme. I went and got a ring and I flew you out here, and it's a joke, of course. So, and then we went to Carmel, and we had a beautiful weekend, and it was pretty funny actually. I wanted to tell people before it was like any sort of pictures or, so my family is spread out around the world, right? So I wanted to have conversations with them about that I was engaged or whatever. But we were just I was randomly on Instagram, just doing like a story or whatever. Elizabeth's eating a crepe right in like kind of downtown Monterey. And then all of a sudden I just started getting blow up email or messages. It's like, what's that on her hand? What's that on her hand? Did she have something on her hand? I'm like,
Oh.
I was fully convinced that
It was me.
Elizabeth dropped it.
Yeah. So he's
And
like,
it was me.
I said, Nicole said she saw it on Instagram. He was like, that must have been your story. Like, she must have seen it on your story. I'm like, Cillian, have you seen my Instagram stories? They are like all political. Like, I don't even know when the last time I posted a regular picture as a story was. Like, it couldn't have been me. Then.
And it was me.
Yeah. So describe that bus for me. Did you catch it?
Didn't catch the license plate on that one, no.
That's he outed us on social media.
Yeah.
There
Did
you
you
go.
take it down though? Like when you realized it, or did you just go with it at that point?
No, it was too late. Everybody saw it.
Okay.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
Funny.
That's awesome. Well, I love the story because it's special, and y'all two are special. So,
Oh, thank you.
well, this has been an awesome conversation. So we'll wrap things up. And I always like to finish by asking some of like your favorite things about St. Pete. So, what's kind of your favorite spot to go for a night out, whether that's drinks or dinner, whatever that looks like.
You go first.
We're gonna go to dinner. We really like going to Lemongrass down on Central. Their Thai food is incredible.
Yeah. And then if it's drinks, I mean, there's so many cool spots, but if it's a chill night, we go to Flying Boat Brewery.
And walk from the house, which is
And,
nice.
Oh, yeah.
We bring our little dog and we play Connect 4 at the bar because they have a whole bunch of games, which is really cool. If you haven't been there, check it out. They got a Nintendo 64 in the middle room and all sorts of stuff there.
We've got really good beer.
If it's a night out, we kind of like Central Brewing, Grand Central Brewing,
Mhm.
place on Central. And then, I'm a little bit of a dive bar guy, so I like Ferg's and Sunset Grill.
Whereas I would much rather we go to Wild Child and Copper Shaker and
Yeah.
we do a little bit of both.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so tell me what's your favorite pizza place, which is a hotly debated topic usually, but
It's Kathy's for me. We had this pizza once. We ordered it with caramelized onions and sun-dried tomatoes and banana peppers. I don't remember something. It was like a $30 pizza once we got done with it, adding all of these things, but it was incredible. It was the best pizza I've ever had.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
okay. Yeah. So being in Boston for so long, is that like, do you still consider the best pizza in the Northeast, or is Cappy's close?
Yeah, I'm
The right answer.
yeah, I'm not a huge, I mean, I eat pizza, but I'm not a huge pizza snob.
Okay.
So I like the pizza at Cappy's, is good. There's also a place for late night drunk pizza on Central.
Oh yeah, Angelo's,
Yes, Angelo's or Anthony's.
Anthony's.
It's right beside, right across the road from Central Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, great drunk pizza.
It used to be Fortunato's. It's not Fortunato's anymore, but it is still a pizza place. I can't remember the name of it.
They
though.
sell it by the slice, which
And
is
it's
kind of hard to get
slices
around here.
this
You know?
big.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right, cool. So when you have a day off, what's your favorite thing to do?
So we wrote this down because we were both. This is a hot topic
Yeah,
last
we
night.
had to compromise.
We had to. So we said coffee at the blend on.
Fourth. One in Old Northeast.
Yeah. And then walk a coffee pot.
Yeah, walk the coffee pot by you.
And then a book and a hammock for a little while.
Oh,
we
nice.
have our special trees that we put our hammock on
In
in
Hanoi.
Hanoi that we like, that kind of is right by where the dolphin swims by every night. So if we can get those,
Oh,
We would do lunch at Lemongrass, mostly around food. I think you're going to notice a trend here. And then I really love, well, I think we both love at this stage, Sunset at Dolphin Beach Resort on St. Pete Beach. It's a real kind of, everywhere else there is so busy. It's just a real chill vibe. It's got a place, I think it's called Flippers.
Yeah.
At the back, it's got like a little kind of tiki bar.
Same bartenders they've had for decades. It's awesome.
Yeah, so we would do a sunset every day if we could get away with it. And then dinner at Hawkers, followed by live music.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
lots of food, lots of outdoor time, and then we both love live music, so we finish it off with that.
You know, we'd find some somewhere. That's what's so cool about St. Pete is there could be a professional headliner doing a concert somewhere, or there could just be a random band at the Hideaway or random open mic night somewhere. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome day. I want to tag along to that day.
Yeah.
And I'm paying for it all.
Yay!
There's nothing unusual about that.
Awesome. Well, you guys are great, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me, and I love hearing about how the business has grown, and it's only going up from here.
I know, and yours too, which has been incredible. It's been a great last couple of years for all of us, I think. And so thanks for having us back too. I know Cillian's glad he finally got to tell his side of the story.
Yeah, I know the world was just dying to hear my side of the story.
Yes, for sure. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. We'll catch you next time.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Brittany.
Bye.
Bye.